History is like a giant quilt made up of many different stories. Today we're going to hear a story about faith, finding safety, and being kind to people who are different from us. It's the story of Islam's special connection to Ethiopia, a country known for its ancient history and beautiful culture. Long ago in the Arabian Peninsula, a new religion called Islam was starting. Some people in Mecca didn't like Islam, and they were mean to the Muslims. The Muslims needed a safe place to go, so they crossed the Red Sea to Ethiopia. They didn't know it yet, but the Christian king of Ethiopia was a kind and fair man. He welcomed them with open arms. Did you know that Ethiopia, a country with a long Christian history, played a big part in the early days of Islam? This journey to safety, called the First Hijrah, was the start of a special friendship between Islam and Ethiopia. In the 600 SAD, when Islam was just starting, there was a kingdom across the Red Sea from Arabia called Aksum. Aksum was a country with a rich history and beautiful buildings. They had tall towers called obelisks, amazing architecture, and busy trade routes. Aksum became a Christian kingdom way before Islam even started, in the 300 SAD. The king of Aksum was a man named King Negus, also known as Al-Najashi. He was known for being wise, fair, and kind. King Negus was a good example of what Aksumite people believed in. Everyone knew he was a just and kind king, even people in faraway lands. When Islam started in Arabia, people all over the ancient world heard about it, even in Aksum. King Negus, who believed in being fair and respecting other religions, wanted to learn more about Islam. One day, a small group of travelers set out on a dangerous journey across the Arabian desert. These were the early Muslims, and they were leaving Mecca because it was no longer safe for them. The Prophet Muhammad's cousin Ja'far ibn Abi Talib led the group across the Red Sea. They prayed to God for protection on their journey to an unknown future. After many days at sea, the travelers finally saw land. They had reached Aksum, the land of the kind King Negus. They were a little afraid, but they hoped the king would protect them. King Negus heard about the Muslims who had arrived from Arabia. He was curious about them and wanted to treat them fairly, so he invited them to his court. Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, the Muslim spokesperson, stood before the king and told him about why they had to leave Mecca. King Negus, who was a Christian, thought carefully about what he had heard. He made a big decision. He decided to let the Muslims stay in his kingdom. The Muslims were so relieved and grateful. They were finally safe in Aksum. Everyone in the Aksumite court was quiet and attentive. King Negus asked Ja'far, "Tell me about your new religion. What do you believe, and why are people being mean to you?" Ja'far stood tall and looked at the king. "Your Majesty," he said, "we believe in one God who created everything. We believe in all his prophets like Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and lastly, Muhammad, peace be upon them all." King Negus, a devout Christian, listened closely to Ja'far. Ja'far could tell the king was interested, so he recited verses from the Quran, the Muslim holy book. He recited from Surah Maryam, which tells the story of Jesus' birth and his mother, Mary. He explained that Muslims believed Jesus was a great prophet, born to the Virgin Mary by a miracle from God, but not God himself. The court was silent when Ja'far finished speaking. King Negus was touched by what he heard. He turned to his bishops and priests for advice. The bishops agreed that the Muslims' beliefs about Jesus were similar to their own. In Aksum, far away from the danger in Mecca, the Muslims found more than just safety. They found a place where they could practice their religion freely. King Negus didn't just tolerate them, he helped them grow. Aksum became a place where the Muslims could practice their faith and share their ideas. The Muslim community in Aksum thrived under King Negus's protection. They built mosques, and the Muslim call to prayer could be heard alongside the Christian church bells. The Muslims were able to grow stronger in their faith even though they had faced hardship. The story gets even more amazing. King Negus was so impressed by the Muslims and the message of the Quran that he decided to become a Muslim himself. When the Prophet Muhammad, who was in Medina, heard about King Negus's conversion, he said a special prayer for the king when he passed away. The king's conversion and the Prophet's prayer show how connected the two religions are and how important tolerance is. This story about early Islam in Ethiopia is very important. It shows us how powerful religious tolerance and living together peacefully can be. Ethiopia, a Christian country, welcomed Muslims who were being treated badly. This act of kindness had a big impact on both religions and continues to inspire people today. King Negus's decision to give the Muslims a home wasn't just a political move. It came from his strong belief in religious freedom. He saw that Islam taught compassion, justice, and belief in one God, values that were important in Christianity too. This tolerance became a big part of Ethiopian culture and helped create a society where Muslims and Christians have lived together peacefully for a long time, respecting each other's beliefs, sharing traditions, and building a life together. The story of the first Hijra is important for everyone, not just Ethiopians. It gives us hope that even when things are difficult and people are different, understanding and compassion can create a more peaceful world. The Muslims who went to Ethiopia didn't just find a safe place, they made it their home. They built mosques, practiced their religion and passed their traditions down through generations, making sure that Islam stayed strong in the Horn of Africa. Over many years, Ethiopian Muslims have protected Islamic heritage and made important contributions to Islamic scholarship, art, and culture. From the old mosques of Negash, where the first Muslim migrants are believed to be buried, to the lively Islamic centers in Addis Ababa and Harar, Ethiopia shows how strong Islam is in Africa. Ethiopian scholars have added a lot to Islamic law, philosophy, and writing. Their work, often written in the ancient Ge'ez language, gives us special insights into how Islamic thought developed in Ethiopia. Ethiopian Muslims have also kept unique traditions alive, like vibrant Sufi orders and special architectural styles that mix Islamic and local designs. This rich cultural heritage shows how important the first Hijra was and how deep Islam's roots are in Ethiopia. Today, Ethiopia is a great example of different religions living together peacefully. Mosques and churches stand next to each other, and the Muslim call to prayer blends with the Christian church bells, creating a beautiful mix of sounds. The respect and understanding between Muslims and Christians have grown stronger over centuries, showing how powerful the tolerance that started with the first Hijra is. This peaceful coexistence isn't just something from the past, it's part of everyday life in Ethiopia. People from different faiths have conversations, work together on projects, and celebrate holidays together, showing how much they respect each other's differences and want to live together in peace. The story of Islam in Ethiopia teaches us that different religions don't have to lead to arguments. It shows how empathy, understanding, and respect can bring people together and create a more peaceful world. Ethiopia gives us hope that even in a world with so much conflict and intolerance, people can still choose compassion and coexistence. History reminds us how powerful compassion is and how important it is to protect the things that unite us. Ethiopia's role as a safe place for early Muslims isn't just a story in a history book. It's a living legacy that shapes Ethiopia's identity and inspires the world. Today, Ethiopia is a shining example of religious freedom in Africa and beyond. With a large Muslim population, Islam is a big part of Ethiopian life, from markets to government. The Muslim call to prayer can be heard all over the country. blending with the sounds of Christian churches, creating a beautiful mix of faiths that reflects Ethiopia's rich spiritual history. This harmony is a result of the tolerance that started with King Negus many years ago. Ethiopia's different religions show that it has always welcomed diversity. Islam, with its rich traditions and different branches, has flourished in Ethiopia, making its culture even more beautiful. From the lively Sufi centers in Harar, where people celebrate their love for God through music and dance, to the old mosques of Gondar, decorated with beautiful Islamic calligraphy. Ethiopia's Islamic heritage is as diverse as it is vibrant. This diversity isn't just about religion, it's part of Ethiopian society. Muslims from different ethnic groups, Amhara, Oromo, Somali and more, all contribute to Ethiopia's culture. Their traditions, languages and ideas make the country richer. This mix of cultures and religions has created a shared identity where being from different religions isn't a problem but something that makes Ethiopian society stronger. In a world that is becoming more connected but also more divided, Ethiopia's story teaches us important lessons about different religions living together peacefully. It reminds us that respecting different religions isn't just a nice idea, but something crucial for creating fair and kind societies. Of course, Ethiopia faces challenges just like any other nation. Sometimes there are disagreements and misunderstandings, but because tolerance is such a strong part of Ethiopian history and because people are committed to interfaith dialogue and community initiatives, they have a good foundation for facing these challenges together. Ethiopia shows us that building understanding and embracing our shared humanity are not impossible dreams, but achievable goals. By learning from the past and working together now, we can create a future where respecting different religions is normal, and where societies are stronger because of their diversity. As we finish learning about Ethiopia's special role in early Islamic history, we are reminded of how powerful compassion is, how transformative interfaith dialogue can be, and how even small acts of kindness can change the course of history. The story of the first Hijra, the journey of those early Muslims seeking safety in the Christian kingdom of Aksum, is relevant even today. It shows us that even when times are tough and people are different, everyone wants understanding, acceptance, and the freedom to practice their religion. King Negus's brave decision to give the Muslims a home, guided by his strong sense of justice and compassion, started a chain of events that shaped the relationship between Christianity and Islam for centuries. His legacy, and the legacy of those early Muslims who found refuge in Ethiopia, continues to inspire us today, reminding us that building bridges of understanding and embracing our shared humanity are not just dreams, but achievable goals. The story of Islam in Ethiopia is more than just a history lesson. It's a vibrant part of Ethiopian society, a testament to the power of tolerance and the positive impact of interfaith dialogue. From the ancient mosques of Negash, where the first Muslim migrants are believed to be buried, to the lively Islamic centers in Addis Ababa and Harar, Ethiopia is a shining example of religious freedom, a country where mosques and churches stand together, their calls to prayer and church bells creating a beautiful harmony of faith. We encourage you to learn more about this fascinating part of history, to explore the rich culture of Ethiopian Muslims, and to discover how the legacy of the first Hijra continues to shape Ethiopia today. Like, share and subscribe for more historical insights on Islam and the world. Let's continue to learn from the past, celebrate our shared humanity, and build a future where understanding and respect create a more just and compassionate world.